Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Holy Comforter Episcopal Church Bible Study. I'm Jimmy Abbott, the priest here at Holy Comforter. I apologize for last week. I did not get a video out. Life just kind of got in the way, but we're back at it. This Sunday is the fourth Sunday of Easter, commonly called Good Shepherd Sunday. In the Episcopal Church, we always read from the Gospel of John, chapter 10, on the fourth Sunday of Easter. And these are the lessons in which Jesus speaks of himself as being the Good Shepherd. So I'd invite you to open up to the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verses 1 through 10. Jesus says, "Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate but climbs in by another way is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers." Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." So just two sort of basic comments about where we are. This is right after Jesus has healed the man born blind, has given him sight, and the Pharisees are questioning who Jesus is, and so I think Jesus is using this to respond to those questions about his own identity. The second thing you can tell in verse 6, it says, Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. We've all done this. I do this like every Bible study or every sermon. You're saying something and you think it's making a lot of sense, and then you kind of get crickets back, like no feedback, no response, so you kind of have to change on the fly and say something else. I think that's kind of what Jesus is doing here. Just, I think, kind of comical or a very human moment for Jesus. A couple of things about this. In the first century, it was that many shepherds, each with their own flocks, would keep all of their sheep of many different flocks in the same sheepfold at night. It was a way to sort of share the cost burden of the infrastructure, right? So many different shepherds, many different flocks, a whole bunch of sheep in one sheepfold. In the morning, they'd open the gate, and as the sheep were then going out, the different shepherds would start calling to their own sheep, and the sheep would know the voice of their own shepherd, and then that's how they would sort of separate out and go to them. I think it's a great image of our world today, that here we all are, all of us as humans, as people, and there are many different voices calling out to us. Many different voices, especially in this day and age of constant noise, of constant news. Many different voices are calling to us. So the question for us is, are we listening to the voice of the Good Shepherd? Are we following after Jesus? It does say here that Jesus, he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And I think that's so true of our own spiritual lives, that so many of us have heard that call in our lives, have heard Jesus reaching out to us and calling out to us by name. And then it's incumbent upon us that we follow. The other comment that I wanted to make, and I think this is important, in verse 10, it says, "I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Now, I think that has been misappropriated by many folks in the prosperity gospel that say, if you follow Jesus, you'll get rich, that you'll have a sort of abundance of life. I don't think that's what Jesus is talking about here. I think life for Jesus is our interior, our spiritual, our emotional life. the sort of the life given by God, the sort of inner zeal and enthusiasm and energy. I think that's the life that Jesus is giving us in abundance. It is not an abundance of things or material wealth. It's an abundance of joy and fervor and zest for life. I think that's what Jesus is giving us. One more note, and maybe I should have said this earlier. I also do think it's interesting where it says that the sheep follow him because they know his voice. Notice that the sheep are following the shepherd. It's not the other way around. It's not that the shepherd is prodding the sheep forward. This is something that we all need to remember as Christians, is that there is no coercion in the gospel. That there's no poking or prodding. There's no this for that with God. It's not a transactional relationship. It's simply that Jesus follows and we lead. That Jesus loves us, and that is a free gift. And our love, our following Jesus in return, is just simply love. It is gift. We don't expect anything in return. We don't hope to get anything out of it. It is all free gift. I think that is one of the fundamental lessons of Christianity that we have to remember today. That Jesus loves us as a free gift, and that we simply follow because Jesus already loves us. I pray this week that you follow the voice of your good shepherd, that you have life in abundance, and that wherever that good shepherd goes, you have the love and the courage to follow. I'd love to hear from you. You can email me, jimmy@holycomforterspring.org. Please subscribe to this channel on YouTube, and I'll see you next week.